Hello everybody and welcome to Car Confections. Today is finally the day that we can show you our driving impressions of the new Dodge Charger 6-pack. I know a lot of you guys have been anxiously awaiting to see what this drive experience is all about, and there's a ton to talk about. As you can see on the screen right now, that will be what we are covering in this video. We're also going to do a really cool tail of the dragon drive experience, so that's certainly a very fun thing that you'll want to pay attention to, but we've got to stay focused with our first acceleration here with the Dodge Charger 6-pack.
Wow, that was fast.
Move the GoPro and everything.
Very nice. So we decided to go straight for the maximum, right? We want to show you guys the performance of this. So we activated the launch control, and that certainly gets you off the line in the quickest possible way.
That's fast.
Yeah, so that's how you can achieve that 3.9 second 0 to 60. So that is obviously very quick. Quite impressive overall, especially for a big old muscle car that we have here today. Now, let's get into some of the specs about this 6-pack. So this is the 3-liter twin-turbo Hurricane inline 6-cylinder. Now, there's going to be two different versions of this offered. You have the RT, which is going to be 420 horsepower, or you have this right here. This is the Scat pack. This is probably what you're going to want to have for sure. 550 horsepower, 531 pound-feet of torque. So those are big old numbers. And I have to say, first acceleration there with the launch control, I'm pretty darn impressed. Yeah,
I have to say, this is one big vehicle, honestly. It weighs nearly 5,000 pounds, and to go 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds is really, really impressive. I mean, it just slams you back in your seat. I also think that the noise is a really big improvement over something like the Dodge Charger Daytona that we drove about a year ago, with the fake exhaust noise. Now, you can have your own feelings about that, but I certainly like the real exhaust noise that you get here on this model. It is an active exhaust system as well, so when you put it in the sport mode, it's going to go ahead and open up those valves to give you the maximum sound, and you'll see that demonstrated throughout this entire test drive. Whew.
Dang.
The shifts are just so aggressive in the launch
Very
mode.
aggressive.
Yeah. The 8-speed automatic really just dials it up to 12 out of 10. That is for sure. My seatbelt's all locked up.
Yeah. And all-wheel drive traction definitely comes in handy for sure. But we're on our way to the tail of the dragon, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, we did it. We made it into the tail of the dragon, the famous road that all enthusiasts want to drive their vehicles on, and Dodge decided to bring us out here to really demonstrate this model, and we're certainly excited to hustle this on this famous road, which is full of corners. I think over 100.
Oh, 320, I think, in 11 miles.
Well, there you go.
So tons and tons of corners to really show you guys what this vehicle is capable of. Now, I do want to point out, it is very cold outside. It's only 32 degrees, and it's currently kind of spitting snowflakes. So we're not going to push it so hard that we fly off of the tail of the dragon. We're trying to keep it on the road here today and keep making car videos for you guys.
Right. This is a road, it's a lot of fun, but it is a little dangerous for sure. There's some people that go beyond their limits. We don't want to do that today. But as you can see, it's handling it just fine so far. Now, obviously, when we're discussing the handling of this model, this is a big muscle car. It's got way more of the classic kind of muscle car proportion than, say, like the Mustang, which has gotten a little bit more, you could say, almost European over the years. This model here has that huge body, and because of that, it does have a lot of weight on board as well. It's about 4,800 pounds as a total curb weight, but that is quite a lot less, about 1,000 less than that electric version we drove about a year ago. And I think as we go around these first few corners here, I can certainly feel that. We did drive the Daytona on a racetrack, and it felt quite heavy when we went around corners. This weight savings is quite beneficial to the overall feel behind the wheel. As we kind of toss it around this corner here, yeah, pretty controlled. You know, you wouldn't guess that it weighs this much. I mean, it is still pretty heavy, of course, but it's handling the mass quite well when we're in the sport mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this certainly is not a vehicle that's designed to be like a European sports car by any stretch of the imagination. It definitely has the mass to it. It's 206 inches in length. It is a big vehicle, and just the fact, though, that you can, take it out here and have some fun on the tail of the Dragon, I think is really quite the testament to this model. And, there's a couple elements that really make this more everyday livable. So like we said, it's, spitting snow flurries here out on the tail of the Dragon today. And honestly, it's nice to have the all-wheel drive peace of mind that this model does have, but also you have the customizability as well. So you can actually basically make this vehicle a rear drive vehicle on demand. So, if the conditions are a little bit better, you can do whatever is necessary.
Yeah, and of course, this is a Dodge Charger after all. We know that people love to do their burnouts, right? So you can do line lock, for example. You can drag strip mode. You can do burnouts. You can have a lot of fun. Yep. It doesn't matter that it's all-wheel drive, and Dodge was really emphasizing that capability, because you can do that on demand. It's really about not having to choose anymore. You can have that capability for whatever life throws at you. Now, in the sport mode like we're in right now, this is a torque split of 60% of the power to the rear and 40% to the front. I think this is, a very good amount, which helps feel very agile and power the vehicle around the corners. As we go around tight corners like that, you can feel a little bit of that push from the back, but you still have that all-wheel drive traction, which is reassuring. And by the way, I have to say, I really like this steering wheel. I was a little skeptical about it being squared off on the top and the bottom, but in practice here, really has a great feel to it. It's easy to, grab a hold of and get good grip on, and it feels very sporty.
Definitely that torque pushes you back in your seat when it finally opens up a little bit.
Yeah, this is not a high-speed road, of course, so it's all about the corners. Good traction. The 6-piston Brembo brakes go hard on there. Yeah, nice. Very good. What do you think, Mason, about the exhaust?
Honestly, I don't hate it. It definitely sounds a lot better in the higher RPMs when it starts to do the pops. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can put it in manual mode and start getting some shifts.
Yeah, let's try that out.
But I really don't think it sounds bad. I think it sounds pretty good. I really am hoping, though, that Dodge will eventually give you, a V8 choice. I think they will give you a V8 choice, because for those of you that are just a real, Charger purist, you definitely want the V8 on something like this road. But I really think it's a big improvement over what they have in the Daytona, that's for sure. So how responsive is it to the paddles, Drew? Decent?
Decent. It's a little slow at times, but it's not too bad. I don't care for the fact that the paddle is only this big and it's just at the top. If you're familiar with other Stellantis products, they use a paddle that just is kind of only at the top because they have the audio controls on the back of the steering wheel as well. I would have preferred maybe they rearranged the buttons a little bit just so we could have a full-size paddle, especially since we don't have a manual option on this. So it is worth pointing out there's no manual transmission. Again, maybe that's something they could do in the future. I have a feeling that Dodge is going to do a lot of special editions and keep upgrading this over time, but for now, you're going to make do with the 8-speed automatic, which by and large is very responsive. And when you're not doing manual mode, I think it really is very good at keeping you right in the power band and being exactly in the right gear that you want when you're going around sharp corners like this, having you completely ready to rock it off.
Absolutely. Now, I already kind of mentioned this, but this vehicle does have all-wheel drive as standard. So that's kind of a unique thing, especially in this muscle car space, to have all-wheel drive. But I do really like that. Like I said, I think this is a perfect demonstration. I know Dodge was hoping for better weather while we were here to drive this six-pack model, but I think it's a good demonstration of why this has all-wheel drive. It does give you that peace of mind regardless of what the weather is doing outside. This is a vehicle that's designed to be a muscle car. On all 4 seasons. It could be a daily driver, and I think most people will be using this for a daily driver. So I honestly really like the fact that all-wheel drive is standard equipment, and you have the customizability to make it basically a rear drive vehicle on demand. That's certainly very nice. And let's quickly hit, fuel economy. Fuel economy is non-existent yet. The EPA has not rated the six-pack model. We do expect it to get decent fuel economy because it is a 6-cylinder, especially, if you're not driving too aggressively. All right, let's get into our slam dunk and airball, our favorite and least favorite element about the Charger six-pack. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the slam dunk of this model?
Well, the slam dunk is going to be the six-pack powertrain. I really like the power, I really like the torque, and then, just that it's a step towards really bringing it back to that traditional muscle car feel. I know a lot of people weren't happy with the Daytona, and it is, very controversial being a full electric product. This here, feels like, okay, I've got some real muscle under the hood, and it's nice.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side with the airball, I think, right now it's being demonstrated. We like a lot about this vehicle, and yes, it is fun to drive, but I think this car just feels kind of big. That's typical with muscle cars, but especially there's really not very many competitors now. The Mustang has gotten kind of more European in its driving dynamics. This vehicle still feels kind of big and heavy, and at almost 5,000 pounds, you can definitely feel that weight. I wish they had maybe, shaved a little bit more of the weight off for the six-pack as compared to the Daytona, because both of the models do feel kind of heavy. And guys, that's going to be where we wrap up part 2 of our Dodge Charger six-pack review. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this, and we do, of course, want to remind you this is part 2. If you want to see all the details about the inside, the outside, all the things that you're going to get with this model, be sure to check out part 1, because we do have that review live on the channel already that goes into all of those specific details. If you're looking to buy a Dodge Charger or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealer negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below. And guys, that wraps us up. If you're not already a part of our family, we'd love to welcome you in by hitting that subscribe button down below. And if you are already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.